guys, my name is Catherine Fox, and I'm a scientist here at the Smithsonian National Zoo and Conservation Biology Institute. Behind me here, you can see a Przewalski horse. This institute has lots of different endangered animals, which you guys might have been talking about at the zoo. So we're here to study and learn about these endangered animals. Personally, I work with a lot of fecal matter. Fecal is like poop. So we don't want to disturb these animals, so we take their poop samples so we can learn more about them. We can learn if they're pregnant, if they're stressed, and lots of other kinds of things just like that. So let me take you to the fecal room first so I can show you how we start this process. Hi guys, welcome to our fecal lab. This is where we're going to be crushing and grinding up our fecal matter. So follow me into the lab, let's see what we do here. Come on inside. First thing you see here is this big freezer. This is where we're going to be storing our fecal samples. Now fecal samples are literally just poop. So let's open her up. And we have lots and lots of bags of poop. Yummy, huh? So we're going to take that poop, we're going to put it in these little bags, and then they're going to go right into this machine. Now this is called a lyo. A lyo is essentially just going to dry out all those samples. Kind of like you can get freeze-dried candy, freeze-dried food. It's very similar to this process. It's going to dry it out, make it really brittle so it'll like fall apart. Kind of almost like dirt, like a really dry dirt. Okay? So once those bags, do you want to get a close-up of those bags? You can kind of see some of that poop inside those bags there. Perfect. Now once those bags have been dried, we're going to take them out. We'll bring them over here. We have a big mallet, kind of like this. We're going to take this mallet with our sample and we're going to crush it, just like this. Okay. Now once we've crushed that sample, it's going to be all crumbly and dry, just like a big pile of dirt. Then we're going to take that sample, we're going to use a sifter. We're going to pour our sample through the sifter, sift out all the poop, and we'll be left with a pile. Now, why do you think we might have to sift out that poop? Well, it's because the things that these animals are eating might include bone, hair, sometimes we even have like sparkles or things like that to determine which animal made that poop. So all those things are going to get sifted out. We don't want that in our sample. All we want is just poop in our sample. Then we're going to take a little tube. We'll put all our sample into our little tube and it'll go right into our freezer. So in our freezer again, here are our samples. I'm going to put on gloves to be safe. And I'll show you what some of these fecal samples look like. So again, this is a maned wolf fecal sample. We put it in these tubes, and here's a little bit of poop at the bottom. It's kind of powdery, so almost like a thin, very crushed up powder. This is what we're going to use to run our assays, which I'll tell you about later. All right, thank you so much for visiting the fecal lab. Hi guys, do you want to see the endocrine lab? Does anybody know what an endocrine system is? The endocrine system is in your body, and that's what's going to regulate and create hormones. Now let's think, what are hormones? Let's pause the video and talk about this. Does anyone know what a hormone is? Pause now. Okay, perfect. So you guys might have talked about this, some of you might have already guessed it, but a hormone is kind of like a little messenger in your body. It's gonna go through your bloodstream and tell your body what to do. So let's follow me in. We study hormones here at our endocrine lab here at the Smithsonian. So we're gonna get inside and I'll show you around. All right, when we first come in, we have these big freezers. So our freezers are to store all of our samples. The samples need to be frozen in order to be kept safe. Kind of like when you have meat, you have to freeze that meat so that it doesn't go bad, just like our samples. Follow me this way. These are called a centrifuge. Now these are really, really big. Sometimes centrifuges are really small. I'll show you one on the back that's very small. But this is a big one so we can run a lot of samples. So come over here, you can take a look inside. We're gonna pull open the lid. And this is where we would put our samples. Now this is gonna spin really, really fast It'll spin our samples down. This is a really important process of our protocol. Follow me this way. As we're coming this way, you can see these are our workstations. So this is where the scientists here and the interns will perform their work here at the Smithsonian. And this is where we're going to be running some of those assays. So if you follow me this way, somebody here has just run an assay. So she has some of our almost like ingredients out ready to go for her experiment. Here you can see different items that she's going to mix all together into a big plate. And I'll show you a video of what that looks like. Follow me this way. Over here we have our weigh scales. So we can use these to weigh out all kinds of different things. And it looks like right here we have another intern who's weighing something right now. This is Sabrina. Sabrina works on cheetah poop. Can you tell us what exactly you're doing?
Yeah, so right now I am weighing out some of our crushed samples into these big tubes so we can get started on an extraction to get the hormones out.
Perfect, thank you so much, Sabrina. So she said she's gonna do an extraction. So that means she's gonna take that poop, she's gonna do a whole bunch to it. She'll add some alcohol, she'll add some other ingredients, she's gonna mix it in that centrifuge that I showed you, and then we're gonna end up with a clear liquid at the very end. And that's what's gonna give us our concentration of hormone. So that means it's gonna tell us how much of that hormone is running through our body. So for example, one of the hormones we study here is called cortisol. Cortisol can tell you how stressed out an animal is. So sometimes you might see an animal and think, oh, I wonder if they're stressed in that cage, like maybe they're pacing back and forth or something similar, and you might be worried. Well, we can tell how stressed they are by looking at that cortisol hormone. So I'll show you what that extract looks like. Follow me to the freezers. Now, I'm gonna put on some gloves because we wanna make sure everything here stays safe and clean. So I'm gonna put on gloves before I touch any of these samples. But I'll show you what that is gonna look like after we extract those hormones. So let's open it up. Here we have all kinds of different samples. Let's look at maned wolf poop samples. So after we extract those hormones, we're gonna put it into a tube like this. That yellow color is because it has some poop matter in there, so it's kind of like poopy water. And then once we take that hormone, we extract it into this liquid, then I can dilute it into this, so it's gonna become a little bit clearer. So a dilution means I'm gonna take a small amount of this sample and then add it into like essentially water in this sample, and it's gonna be a lot lighter colored. And then I can run that on the plate like I showed you. All right, thanks for visiting the endocrine lab. Bye. Welcome to the vet hospital. Let's go inside. As we go inside, here you can see a beautiful tree. This tree of life showcases all the animals we work on here at the Smithsonian Conservation Biology Institute. So you can see here, we work on things from frogs, all the way to elk, all the way to deer and tapirs, just like we have at the Naples Zoo. And we have bears. These are some sloth bears and Andean bears. We have lots of big cats and some birds as well. Follow me, I'll show you into the lab. If we keep coming this way, this is our vet hospital. But not only is it a hospital, it's also a working lab. So we do a lot of different kinds of lab stuff here. So I'll show you into our lab here. Follow me. Right here is where we're gonna keep all our lab coats. So does anybody know why we wear lab coats? Lab coats are to protect us. So if we spill anything on our skin, luckily we're wearing a lab coat, so it will protect us. Follow me inside. Nobody's using this lab right now, but we like to use this lab mostly for cleaning purposes. So we are washing tubes right now, so that way we can reuse them. It's kind of like washing your dishes. So in here we have a whole pile of tubes that are getting cleaned. They're in soapy water. They're gonna soak for a couple hours, and then we're gonna come in and we're gonna scrub them with a scrub brush. Whoops. So once we scrub them with our scrub brush, then we'll put them in regular water, and then eventually they'll go into really, really clean water for the very last step, and then they will sit out here to dry. So here's all our tubes drying right here. And after drying, then we can put them right back into their tube boxes, and we can reuse these ones. So some of these you can see have a little bit of maybe color or number on them, but that's okay because they're still clean. And then over here, you can follow me. This is where we keep some tube racks. So all these tubes in here, they will sit inside this tube rack, and it keeps them upright for us. So I'll show you what that looks like. Follow me this way. Just like this. And then we can use all these tubes. We can put different things inside of them. And they stay upright just for us. Thank you for visiting.